Hello, welcome to Examining Fictional Heroes and the authors behind them. My name is Wayne Browder. Today I have only a couple of excerpts to discuss with you. The first one is actually not from a work of fiction, but it is from one of the authors I like to discuss, and that is John Steinbeck. The book Travels with Charlie in Search of America. What I'll be reading will be the beginning of part 2. And I want to share this with you guys because it really hits me. I think it will you too. In long-range planning for a trip, I think there is a private conviction that it won't happen. As the day approached, my warm bed and comfortable house grew increasingly desirable, and my dear wife incalculably precious. To give these up for 3 months for the terrors of the uncomfortable and unknown seemed crazy. I didn't want to go. Something had to happen to forbid my going, but it didn't. I could get sick, of course, but that was one of my main but secret reasons for going at all. During the previous winter, I had become rather seriously ill with one of those carefully named difficulties, which are the whispers of approaching age. When I came out of it, I received the usual lecture about slowing up, losing weight, limiting the cholesterol intake. It happens to many men, and I think doctors have memorized the litany. It happened to so many of my friends. The lecture ends. Slow down. You're not as young as you once were. And I had seen so many begin to pack their lives in cotton wool, smother their impulses, hood their passions, and gradually retire from their manhood into a kind of spiritual and physical semi-invalidism. In this, they are encouraged by wives and relatives, and it's such a sweet trap. Who doesn't like to be a center for concern? A kind of second childhood falls on so many men. They trade their violence for the promise of a small increase of lifespan. In effect, the head of the house becomes the youngest child. And I have searched myself for this possibility with a kind of horror. For I have always lived violently, drunk hugely, eaten too much or not at all, slept around the clock or missed 2 nights of sleeping, worked too hard and too long in glory, or slobbed for a time in utter laziness. I've lifted, pulled, chopped, climbed, made love with joy, and taken my hangovers as a consequence, not as a punishment. I did not want to surrender fierceness for a small gain in yardage. My wife married a man. I saw no reason why she should inherit a baby. I knew that 10 or 12,000 miles driving a truck, alone and unattended, over every kind of road, would be hard work. But to me, it represented the antidote for the poison of the professional sick man. And in my own life, I am not willing to trade quality for quantity. If this projected journey should prove too much, then it was time to go anyway. I see too many men delay their exits with a sickly, slow reluctance to leave the stage. It's bad theater as well as bad living. I am fortunate in having a wife who likes being a woman, which means that she likes men, not elderly babies. Although this last foundation for the journey was never discussed, I am sure she understood it. Lastly, I'm going to read a short excerpt from To the Far Blue Mountains by Louis L'Amour. This is part of the Sackett series, and everyone who reads Louis L'Amour has their favorite Sackett. Mine is Barnabas, and this is one of the books about him. He was the first of the Sacketts to come to America, and it is he that is narrating the story. We were fighters all. John Quill, who had made his great defense of the fort after the death of Slater, was remembered by our enemies, for they gloried in the strength of any fighting man, enemy or friend. But time has a way of stealing strength from a man, and even before that, his swiftness and agility. Guys, when we move through life, we are going to lose a step or two. I have definitely lost a step or two as I've gone through life. But I intend to do what I can, as much as I can, for as long as I can. But time does catch up with us. As Rocky Balboa says, time is undefeated. But I am not going to pack my life away in cotton wool, hood my passions, and smother my impulses. I'm going to live while I can. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.